All right, so we'll start with a short arrival practice and then we'll take it from there. So feel free to turn your videos off for this and so that you can feel comfortable to just relax. You're welcome to keep it on as well if you like, and can close your eyes if that feels good for you. Otherwise, you can also just lower your gaze a little bit and look along your nose line and soften your gaze. Get a sense of your feet on the ground, your legs and back against the chair. Just feeling that connection to the ground. Take a few breaths deeply into the lower part of your abdomen. And breathing in and out through the nose, if that works for you. And take a moment to see what's naturally present and arising for you in this moment. Might be thoughts or sensations in your body. There could be a sense of either being happy with how you're doing or not wanting what's arising. Just notice what it feels like, your experience in this moment. No need to alter that in any way, to change anything. Just letting all experience flow, including the experience of how you feel about your experience. And you'll probably find that your attention moves from one thing to the next. A thought here, a sensation in your body, the emotion, another thought. And that's just what our attention does. It's moving. And then notice that there is also the you that is aware of this movement, of experience, of attention. That you that is aware, that notices, that hears my voice, is always naturally present. does not change with the experience. It's the same open intelligence or awareness that was noticing yesterday or 5 years ago. So we can rest in this indestructible, unchanging essence of our being, the true nature of mind. Just relaxing instead of getting wrapped up in all the movement. Allowing all the energy to flow on by however it may. As we rest in this imperturbable, spacious, easeful expanse of our own mind. And it's natural as we familiarize ourselves with this practice that we get absorbed again into thoughts, emotions, sensations, data. And all we need to do is just remember and relax. One short moment at a time. And we repeat that whenever we remember. Just touching in. No need to hold to this experience of recognition. Just that instinctive realization, this is who I am. And letting experience flow however it will. So as we're here together for the hour, you can continue to practice. And then when you go about your day after the call, you can continue to practice one short moment at a time. No matter what we're doing, we can always just take a short moment to recognize open intelligence, relax body and mind into the ease of being. You can get a sense again of your body, what it feels like. Is there anything you need to move or stretch a little bit? And another breath into the lower part of your abdomen. And if you had your eyes closed, you can gently open them and bring them back to the shiny pixels on the screen. Kati's just coming back on, all her radiance. All right. Kati,
Great,
do you want
thank you.
to take it
Oh.
from here.
Perfect. So thank you so much. And we'll go through a couple of teaching slides. I'll share the screen. And as I also see, welcome to everyone, that there are a couple of new people first time here. We'll also share some of the basics of the teachings anyway here, but I just added a few things. And some of the metaphors, but yeah, we wanted to go through how to rest naturally, disturbing thoughts and emotions, and one simple change, short moments. So we'll go a bit through some texts that are very evocative of the teaching, and we'll share here. Here, beginning with the introduction to open intelligence. So to recognize this essence of mind, stop thinking just for a moment. What remains? What remains is a moment of clarity, ease, and just being. Obviously, we have further thoughts and we cannot stop thinking for a long time. And that's also not the point, but it sometimes gives us more a glimpse of this presence, this clarity, ease, and presence that are always on, that we just don't notice because our mind is so focused on our thoughts and emotions, on the content of our mind and the way we describe everything. And so we just don't notice the clarity and ease and presence because we have trained ourselves to constantly focus on our thoughts, emotions, and experiences. So our habit is to focus on the content of the mind. And as you can see, that crystal ball, we usually refer to that as an introduction because it's such a powerful metaphor. It evokes the stability, the indestructibility of the crystal ball, no matter what appears within it. So the reflections could be anything. And the crystal ball's essence is not affected, not disturbed. It's indestructible in its clarity, regardless of what appears within it. And that's the same for our mind, and that the indestructibility and clarity of our mind is always on, regardless of our thoughts, emotions, what we're experiencing throughout the day. And that's really, it's powerful. And this is evoked and opened and acknowledged in this short moments practice, or remembering short moments, and until it's obvious without even anything, that we don't even need to take short moments. It's just present, and that's that's the power of open intelligence. So all thoughts and emotions are recognized to be the dynamic energy of open intelligence. No matter what we think and feel just right now, it's the energy of open intelligence. It's what's looking, is always present. So open intelligence and data, we call all the thoughts and emotions, experiencing, anything you can describe, data. And they're inseparable, like the sky and the color blue. So looking into the sky, seeing the blue sky and color blue in the sky are inseparable. It cannot be one thing or another. So that's like another metaphor that is very evocative of open intelligence and the essence of our being. Because we're not trying to get rid of data, meaning any kind of thoughts that feel unpleasant or disturbing. It's more recognizing the essence of everything, the dynamic energy of open intelligence that is always changing. We can never like keep one thing in place. And that's what that's where the relief was, especially for me, trying to find good clarity or find restfulness or feeling calm, and trying to keep that somehow in place. And in that way, overlooking actually that there's something about me that is always present, always at ease, no matter what is occurring. So that's the introduction to open intelligence. It's not something we need to really actually cultivate. Mm. And then obviously, for many of us, it's quite challenging to rely on open intelligence when there are disturbing thoughts, emotions, sensations, and other experiences. So that's where then these short moments come in, where we remember short moments when things feel like unpleasant and disturbing, no matter what we labeled it, and just simply take short moments throughout the day and see what happens, because it's powerful to see that even very disturbing states arise within open intelligence, ever present. Data, the dynamic energy of open intelligence. And so there's this choice that we choose for open intelligence to be obvious to us or not. It's a moment-to-moment choice. It's the most important choice we make. So it's like a choice to recognize open intelligence, even without really knowing necessarily in the beginning, especially what that means. And just hearing it more and more, it becomes obvious because it's very natural to us. And it's not something out there or something that needs to develop. What does develop, or so to speak, we gain more confidence in it, and it becomes more obvious just by hearing about it. Because otherwise, every focus is on the descriptions of our thoughts and emotions, and it went unnoticed. But it becomes obvious. There's something about us that is always present and stable, regardless of what our thoughts and emotions are. And this becomes then obvious in a short moment. So having that choice supports that to be obvious in our experience. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, disturbing states will not change by trying to avoid them. But data cannot ignore data, like fire cannot be rid of heat, get rid of heat. So these are now examples of the way we use our mind is trying to maybe avoid data, avoiding our emotions, avoiding certain thoughts. We don't want to think about something because it feels uncomfortable, or we want to avoid a certain place or a certain person that that brings up things we don't like, or we try to replace it with a better thought. We try to be nice or be compassionate or have positive thoughts about something rather than the negative thoughts and try to replace it. Or the other is that we try to understand something or try to analyze it or get into it. With my background of psychology, it was a lot of like looking at everything in detail, analyzing it. So it was, or simply trying to figure out what's happening, indulging. So when we see these kinds of ways of using the mind, just recognizing that, so being introduced to another way of allowing all this energy, allowing all the data to be as it is, without needing to change anything, and rest as in a short moment of open intelligence, which was for me totally powerful, because then all these ways of dealing with it was kind of, with data was kind of exhausting. So it was a moment of relief. Even though then gaining confidence in open intelligence required just to, yeah, basically get used to what is very natural. So I'll just read the text, but I wanted to give that introduction to these ways of using the mind. So disturbing states will not change by trying to replace them with positive states, for a datum cannot change a datum, just as an emerald cannot change its color. Data cannot be stilled by forcing them to become calm or analyzing them, for that is none other than descriptions involved in manipulating descriptions. So it's one datum trying to change into a next datum, but all what is happening is a flow of experience, a flow of data. They cannot be free with antidotes of any kind, for that would be like wanting to make muddy water clearer. Yet stirring it with a stick, antidotes too our data that are the pure stream of open intelligence. Disturbing states in and of themselves are inseparable from open intelligence. So let them be as they are and just relax. So we see that there's a presence of open intelligence right there, regardless of what we're doing with our data. And the simplicity of the language evokes too that there's nothing to look for in data. Obviously, we can talk about specific thoughts and emotions, and that is helpful too, to acknowledge whatever is present, what we feel and what the energies are. But when we then rest for that moment, and that metaphor of the mud, and you try to swirl it around or get rid of the pieces, it just gets more and more. So when you rest, the sediment settles and the pond is clear. So that's the power of a short moment. And we test it out in our experience. That's the only way to see it, that that is so for one's own experience. Yeah, just as a rainbow appears within space, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and other experiences appear within open intelligence. Yeah, that's like a moment of rest, just allowing that metaphor to open up. It's like the rainbow appears with all its colors in space, and it's really there, and we can see it, and it has a vivid expression, but it is inseparable from space. So it's like with all the experiences we have, they appear with an open intelligence, like the rainbow in the sky or in space. And then it leaves also no trace. It disappears. So that aspect of all our data is also captured in this metaphor. And I think Jochen had to attend to something. So I'll just proceed here. Yeah, practically, this is how it works. When disturbing states arise, we rely on a short moment of unending and open intelligence. Over time, by the power of the short moment growing longer, there is instinctive open intelligence regardless of what type of thought, emotion, sensation, and experience arise. We find that all these disturbing states rest in open intelligence. So that might be, well, it's powerful to just hear that all these disturbing states, all these afflictive, like anger, irritation, sadness, anxieties, these are all data inseparable. The energy of open intelligence, they arise as an open intelligence, and by taking short moments, they are less a threat or less something we need to get rid of or do something about to find well-being. And that becomes obvious just taking one short moment at a time. And this confidence increases. Initially, some short moments will feel like, wow, that's like, it's the first time not trying to do something with everything that we are feeling and thinking. And we see that they self-release without any effort. So that's the invitation, one short moment at a time. And that's why you hear also short moments, like again and again, like we repeat that, because it's the power is in that repetition, and becoming more and more familiar with open intelligence, naturally present. Yeah, here's another summary of this here. There's no need to indulge, renounce, transform, refine, or analyze data. Simply let each data stream flow on by. Nothing needs to be done about the data. The only reality of data is open intelligence benefit. Data shine forth within open intelligence like rays of the sun shine within the sun. So, yeah, it's very powerful. For me, it was very powerful to just hear that, because that there's no need to indulge, renounce, transform, refine, or analyze data. We all have our ways of doing that, trying to meddle with the data, look at them, and we can get very expert-like as well. And it doesn't dismiss any of that, because clear insights and wisdom come from all data. So it's not like, oh, these bad data over there. It's the energy of open intelligence containing all the wisdom and clarity that we are actually trying to figure out conceptually. So that's where, when you see that term open intelligence benefit, has a depth to it. The only reality of data is open intelligence benefit, which figuring it out can feel very limited. But over time, in one's own experience, it becomes clear, there's a beneficial intent, there's a power within all the data, the energy of all the data has a clarity and insight and wisdom for situations, for relationships. So we know what to do. It's the power to know. There is the energy as everything. And so to see that really practically happening, because I was always reflecting on how long, so I also had like a long sitting meditation practice, how that would benefit me with relationships or with any kind of, with the work or with life, really. Because then it feels really good when meditating, but then when you're in life, there's lots that comes up and needs to be dealt with, lots of emotions, lots of situations, unpleasant ones as well. And so, yeah, great. Yeah, let's open up for shares and questions as well. I think we can share further here.
Yeah, I'll go on. I'll share. Hi. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I was literally at that point where the I was just like going into the data when the disturbing data was showing up, and then yeah, after like empowerment 6 and 7, where it was like talking about like being like entirely ready, then I started to like become more committed to that, and then like when the disturbing data was showing up like more recently now, like I'm like I think I experienced more like what it means to like leave it as it is rather than the usual like I didn't realize how like into it I was going like, and then yeah, just been noticing yeah the true meaning, I guess, or more closer to it, to leave data as it is. And yeah, it's been nice.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Mm. It's nice when it comes in one's own experience, because that's really all that matters really in the end, right? We can hear about it, but when it's like, oh, it really has to show itself in life, right? Yeah, great.
Yeah, yeah, that's my experience.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. I use empowerment 6-7. That's good. Right.
Hi, Mary.
Mary. Mary.
So I
Hi.
also want to share a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. For me, it's sometimes so that I think, or the thought comes up, it couldn't be so simple. It couldn't be so simple. And then, and again, and again, and again, and again, it is so simple. And I'm always surprised about it, that it is so simple, even with emotions, thoughts, which are used to be somehow heavy, sad, and so on, or scary. And then it's so simple, and they are they are getting smaller, or no, that's not the right expression. They don't get smaller. They are just still there, but it doesn't scare me or makes me suffer. I wouldn't say no, no, they completely no, don't make me suffer, but it's much easier if I go into this feeling of I am, or this experience of I am awareness, and also these emotions are nothing but awareness, and they are only data consisting of pure space, and so on and so on. Yes, and sometimes it's so scary that it is so easy. A part of me says, "Oh my God, what? It's like an emptiness there, waiting for me." And then there comes the feeling of that makes me a little bit frightened, because it's so it. I don't know if you understand me, because it's somehow yes, this easiness or this spaciousness has something frightening for me. And then I know, okay, it's a point of view, or it's my so-called ego, or which recognizes that it is not real. It's like an illusion. It's not really there. And from there, the frightening comes. But it's a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yes. Mhm. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's
Mm.
very powerful. And what if that fear also arises in, of, as, and through open intelligence and
Yes. On the one side, it's turning up the scariness of it, because again, so simple. No, no, it couldn't be so simple. No. And then, oh no, okay, these are only thoughts. Of course, it's so simple. And yes.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
many short moments.
Yes.
Yeah. Hattie, were you going to say something there?
No, I was also just thinking that's what, when we talk about the gaining confidence in open intelligence, that's what you're describing, really. It's again and again just seeing, actually, it's so simple. It maybe sometimes not easy,
Mm.
but it is so simple, and then there's more confidence, like even the scariness with that all, or the fear that arises, it just also self-releases, or is not threatening in itself. Is it like another energy? Sometimes we think it's like all gonna be a void or empty, or whatever
Yes.
it is, right? It could, are there subtleties of potentially ideas that are connected, that also release and open up what we think that everything is, what reality is. So these
Mm.
can bring some fear, subtle but also open fears, and they are seen as that as well as the energy. Because in the end, even though we hear about empty space, open intelligence, there's everything is like space, it's filled with power. And I'll say some words, they'll become meaning in everyone's experience in very unique ways, but like the power of love and compassion, and the power to know, the power to be skillful, to see clearly. And then one also can understand the term wisdom in that context. So these qualities and activities is actually power packed, basically. And you probably see that because you have a
Yeah.
very strong practice, it seems like. Yeah. You have practiced short moments a while. Is that how it is for you, or?
I didn't understand the question.
Did you practice the short moments of open intelligence, or have you listened to the talks?
To the especially short moments, I discovered 2 weeks ago.
Great.
But but I have had a practice, so to say, with other teachers and online and so on for years. And yes, I was very deep in this feeling of I'm nothing but consciousness, and losing it and becoming it and losing it and becoming it. I like growing more and more into it, and then I discovered Candice Odenver 2 weeks ago, and then I came to you, and but I find this practice especially, yes, simple, yeah, and good, very good. No special words or something from Buddhism or whatever. Simple words like awareness and short moments, and you use data and open intelligence, words which everybody can understand, and that's very good, and makes it even clearer. It's very powerful, I find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yes. It's that was exactly what Candace's wish was, to
Hmm.
bring it into words that everyone can understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful. You felt that. Mm-hmm.
And I bring it more and more, but for years now, I bring it more and more into my work as a psychotherapist. I use it also with clients, but not with some words like do you know Buddhism or something, or are you spiritual? I also try to make it as simple as possible. Um, and sometimes I got some so-called spiritual clients. They come to me because of depression or other problems, and then, by the way, they say they are also on a spiritual way, and then I can help them on this way.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's very enriching, very,
yeah. Yeah,
very.
it's
That's the
beautiful.
most beautiful work. If I have some such clients, but it's not very often that such clients come into my practice.
Right, right. It's different things
Mm,
for different people, right? But yeah, but some are
yeah.
open to
Mm,
that, and then it has some magical effects.
mm,
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you for sharing. That's so
mm,
powerful. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did you have another any question or another thought that you wanted to share?
Maybe that what I wrote you, but I don't know if in this forum now on Zoom now in this group, this is the theme, how I could bring it also here under the people in Berlin. I have the wish to spread it more here, but I don't know how. I don't know really how. I don't want to make a. I even don't know how to call it. If I would do something like a weekly meeting or so, I don't know the right words. On the one side, it is too simple if I say, if I only talk about short moments, then maybe nobody recognizes my advertising also. And and if I call it, "Are you on a spiritual way?" then I think it's even too much, because I don't want to make it with such big words, and that's a little bit my thinking in the
Mhm.
last weeks or months.
Yeah.
How can I bring it here? How can I spread it more
Yeah. Yeah.
in Berlin? Yeah.
Well, it would be nice to speak also personally, maybe in depth more about that. But
Yeah.
generally, yeah, so that
Yeah,
we can
I would
definitely do.
appreciate.
But you know, we have we have experiences because there are people around the world that maybe gather in different cities and read the texts and the books and either together or they have certain teachings, but or just a community meeting where
Mm.
it's enjoyed together. And by reading the books and they share their experiences, it attracts those who like it. So there are ways that could have where we can provide some things that can make it easier.
Oh, that
And
would be very
yeah,
good.
and then also generally also for you to see, maybe to get to know, well, there are ways we are here introducing or share, like finding it in our own experience completely, which makes it then easier to share one's own experience, basically, so that others can recognize it in their own experience.
Mm.
Yeah. And that we could maybe speak on a bit more in depth. We are talking here about the
Yes,
12 empowerments. You might have heard about that, right?
I've heard about that, but I don't know what it is.
Right, right. So
Mm.
that yes, that we could share maybe a moment here about it, but that's
Mm.
what we also can speak a bit more. But that's some here on the call are going through the process, so to speak, even though, you know, ultimately it is really just revealing itself as open intelligence, but it's a 12-part teaching that introduces open intelligence, but in a way that you bring it into your own life very directly. Everything is then, it's texts and questions attached to it, and it makes it very alive for oneself in one's own daily circumstances, relationships. Basically making open intelligence obvious and bringing the confidence in open intelligence alive. Or going through step by step, recognizing how we are using our mind with data, and then what data are more difficult, where is it easier, and then bringing the confidence in. So some are going through that, and it's a beautiful process. Maybe we can, we heard Gillette speak in the beginning, right, about where there's empowerment 6 and 7. It's like, it's a deepening of allowing data to be as it is. And it has such depth, even though it's in the end, it's a simple practice, but it's profound and has such depth, bringing it into one's own experience. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could hear anybody else would like to share, or maybe also Gillette if you wanted to share something more. But
Yeah, like my experience before, when I was like deciding like whether like I was just planning to like do it on my own. I was just like going through the videos and all of that, and I still felt like I was making progress, but then yeah, and then after I did like I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna take it serious, then because all the trainers were recommending like in the video anyway, like when the trainers were talking, they were saying like, oh, the 12 empowerments, they like boosted like the open intelligence stuff or like the process anyway. And then yeah, after I did it, and then yeah, I kind of had the same experience. Like I feel like I don't know how to explain. Like, I guess just like the opening up of like or realizing the open intelligence stuff. It just happened like faster or just like more. I don't know. Probably better than if I had done it on my own, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel about it.
yes, thank you for sharing. Yeah, there's something we call the four mainstays, which open intelligence expression. Basically, it's the support platform to make it obvious. So we call it the four mainstays, and one of them is the practice, short moments. Then having a trainer, someone who can give some instructions or support with difficulties. Then also all the media, the talks, the texts, everything that evokes open intelligence. And then the community people who are practicing short moments, and when you hear others share, then we recognize it for ourselves, and it supports like, oh, I can do it too. So it's like these four aspects is like an algorithm leading to the result of gaining confidence in open intelligence. And it's, yeah, so that's the, yeah, the support structure behind it. Yeah. I want to marry you. Would you like to share something spontaneously? Only if you like.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Yeah. Try.
Yes.
I'm just at the first empowerment so far I've done, and I did notice, which I emailed you about, is that it brought up a lot of data. You know, a lot of it reminded me of when I was a child in school and had some challenges with learning, and so that was kind of getting in the way. But then I realized that if I take a short moment when this is coming up, that it will self-release, that I don't have to figure it out. But definitely it's going to be a learning curve, because I'm still at that place. I thought I wasn't, but I'm still at that place where I think I have to figure it out.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And actually, that's perfect for Empowerment One, because in Empowerment One, what it does is just like highlights all the dynamics of data again. You know, some things we might have just skillfully either pushed away or resolved as well, but things that were just, and now they are all being seen in the light of open intelligence with the short moments practice. So it's kind of purposeful that one has actually more going on in the beginning. It's not to scare anyone off, but it's like it's a bit of opening.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, so that's helpful. And then one can practice with the data and with seeing actually how have I used data to, yeah, get along with life, basically. Trying to understand, for example. Yeah.
And I had one other question that I just love Candace. I love the videos and everything, but there is a part of me that feels like is still seeking through the explanations. Do I just rest with that? Like I feel like there's a goal, which I feel is not the right way to be doing it. How do I, when I come up and I feel like I'm working towards something, how do I step back? Just step back and take a moment and let that be, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And ultimately it just shows your motivation, which is great. Yeah, you really want this. So it's like the great fuel for this amazing fire. Yeah, you know this is what you want, and so you're going for it. And of course, in most of our Western world, if we really want something, we think we need to like tense up and really go for it. So here we just retrain ourselves. If we really want it, we can just relax. So it's,
Thank you. You're making me teary. Thank you. It's
oh,
good to
yeah,
reinforce that and believe
yeah.
that and know that. Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. There are many stories in the in the ancient histories of um, about. We also wrote this in the newsletter for those of you who read them, um, about this warmth and the motivation. That just for some reason, some people just have that. There could be all kinds of stories around why that's the case, but we just know some people just really feel this like being so magnetized. And then when they like in when we come across then the source, so to speak, and we really discover that it's a very touching experience. Like I understood why people were talking about this like homecoming or things like that are very tender and almost like primal, like where there is something, wow, it runs so deep. So simple, but it runs so deep. Yeah. So, yeah.
Great, yes. Let's see, is there anything else before we pause here?
And then, Kati, we also maybe should just mention that we won't have a meeting next week, right?
True, yes.
We'll be traveling and won't be online next week at this time. We usually, like, wherever we go, we do this meetup, but next week will be tricky. So if anything changes, we'll send an update. But for now, the plan is that right, Kati, or are you just
Yeah,
typing me
perfect.
that we will have the meeting? No.
That's perfect. And I just wanted to just see, because Jörg wanted to say something.
Yes, I have a practical question because you mentioned the book. Which is the book?
The book, you mean like one of the books?
Yes.
There are
Is
books
there
to.
a special or the most important book would you recommend to read?
I guess One Simple Change is a good introductory book.
Mm-hmm.
It is on One Simple Change.
One Simple
And
Change from
and the
Canvas.
Short Moments book. It's also a very introductory book.
Okay. It's just
Nikita,
called
you look
Short
like
Moments.
you're looking for the link. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nikita will
I think
put the
Nikita will
link.
drop the link into the chat in a moment.
Okay, very good.
You can get them on Amazon or just download them on a PDF from the website if you like.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, great.
There.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nikita. Good.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you,
Well, so
everyone.
nice to be together. Thank you, everybody.
And